Welcome back. I'm here with Football League editor Pascal Lemaire to talk about Saturday's championship match between Brighton and Blackburn. Pascal, Brighton made a great start to the season, lost their 100% record, but they'll still be delighted with how things have gone so far.
They certainly will be, yeah. It was a very disappointing campaign last term, and amazingly, after 2 games, they were the only team with a 100% record. There's been loads of draws in the championship this season so far, and they took their 100% record to Huddersfield, a side that you would consider one of the worst in the league, and they went there full of confidence after the late winner against Fulham, and Tomer Hemed, who scored the late winner from the penalty spot at Craven Cottage, went on a bulldozing run down the right, crossed it in for Kai Allen. They scored after 17 seconds, I think it was, at the John Smith Stadium. So a brilliant start it was to the campaign there, to the match there, and you just thought that league leaders going there, scoring after 16 seconds, what a fantastic start, and you thought they would just build on that and maybe go 2-3 goals ahead, but they couldn't quite sort of open up that gap against Huddersfield, who eventually got the equaliser, and then a draw, 7 points out of 9. If you'd said to Chris Hughton, you can have 7 points from your first 3 games, they would have definitely taken it. But after the first two wins, not being able to go and win at Huddersfield is a bit disappointing. And there's also the story about Lewis Dunk, who was left on the bench again. He was left on the bench against Fulham at the weekend, the side that have been linked heavily with a move for him this summer, and he was left out at Huddersfield. And you wonder if being left out 2 games in a row like that is clearly an issue there. If he wants to stay at the club, wants the move, and he's their best defender. He was brilliant in the season opener against Forest. So if he has to leave, I know Brighton have had a good start to the season, but I don't think they've got quite enough to sort of hold that place in the top 6. I mean, they're joint top at the moment, but I think especially if they lose Dunk, they could struggle to stay up there. I think certainly they'll be better than last season, but maybe just a mid-table finish this year.
So far, so good for them. Blackburn, on the other hand, still looking for their first win of the season.
Yeah, they are. They had a tough start, at home to Wolves, one of the strongest teams in the league. They lost 2-1 there, and since then they've had, back-to-back 1-1 draws. They also drew 1-1 with Huddersfield, and then in their most recent game in midweek, they drew again 1-1 with Cardiff, and they were going to lose that game until I think it was the 89th minute when Grant Hanley came up with a goal, and I think they realise how tough it's going to be if they do lose Jordan Rhodes, if someone else signs him, because he couldn't play in that game. He went off injured at Huddersfield at the weekend and had to miss the midweek game through injury, and if they do lose him, if someone comes in and signs him, they're going to struggle so badly for goals, because they needed a last minute equaliser from their centre back against Cardiff to get anything out of that game, and they've lost Gusted to Aston Villa. If Rhodes goes as well, they're going to really struggle, because Nathan Delfunzo is not going to do much there. They've signed another guy, Bengali Fode, who hasn't played in England before. He might struggle to adapt here. So I think I look at teams like Blackburn and Bolton. They're 2 Lancashire sides there. They're both going to struggle to score goals this season because they're really light on strikers. And considering where Blackburn have been the last 2 years, sort of consistent top half teams, I just can't see them doing it again this year.
So contrasting fortune so far. Which way do you see this one going?
I'm going to go for another draw here. I think Brighton. It's going to be interesting. If Dunk is sold, maybe if the Dunk saga's done by the time they get to this game, it might be able to put it to bed. But I think Blackburn, if they get Rhodes back for this one, they should be more of a threat in attack. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Sportsman going for a 1-1 draw.